More sexual misconduct allegations against high-profile celebrities. This time, Fox Sports and two of its biggest stars are in the hot seat. A former hairstylist has filed a lawsuit accusing Skip Bayless, Joy Taylor, and others of sexual battery and harassment, even going so far as to say Bayless offered her more than $1 million for sex. We've got our hands on this lawsuit, and we are bringing you the most shocking claims. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Now,
absolutely wild. I don't know if you're living under a rock, but this is how we're bringing in the new year with a bang. Let me play something else for you. But before I do that, welcome to Court of Public Opinion, where we discuss all the amazing, exciting topics that come up what looks like every single day. And even though we're at the top of the new year, it's now January 7th, and the Cat Williams prediction is spilling over into 2025. He did say all things or people must, or all secrets must be exposed. So, interesting. Let me play something else for you. Oh, yeah. Sorry, bear with me. Hold on, let me try to play some music in the background. I'm still fully getting acclimated with everything. So I appreciate your patience. Okay. Now let's hear what your girl has to say.
Boys, because clearly, I dubbed them princess boys, because clearly they want the princess treatment. And being a woman of substance and means, I can provide that for them. Now, there's things that I want in exchange for taking care of a princess boy.
There you have it. She said it. She said it. Those weren't my words. Those were her words. All right. Let's get back to it.
And, you know, if that is what men are interested in behaving like, I feel like I can do that. I can be that person for you. I can give you an experience you've never had.
Can we just keep it a buck? If they're fine enough, if they're funny enough, or if their financial status is what you want, fine, funny, fucking money. You're throwing all boundaries, standards, all that shit you talk on Instagram about how you would never, and this woman ain't because women this and men this. You're moving forward with this person.
Wow. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Now, I'm not a believer in people taking clips from other interviews and creating the narrative that they want to create. But did you hear what she said? She said it clear as day. She was straightforward. And she wasn't sugarcoating anything. There weren't any subliminals. She was telling you straight up how she feels. Oh my gosh. So yeah, this is actually absolutely wild. So Fox News or Fox Sports, I'm sure it's blowing up over there, that network is blowing up right now because of this lawsuit that has been entered in. I believe it was on the 5th of January. So just to give you a little backstory, I'm going to play something else for you so that you can see exactly what was going on. This person on TikTok, he explained it perfectly. So I am going to share this with you right now.
To unpack this week at Fox Sports as the network was hit with a lawsuit from a former hairdresser based in their Los Angeles studios. The lawsuit implicates not only Skip Bayless, but also Joy Taylor, Emmanuel Acho, and an executive at the company, and none of it is good. Here are the 5 things you need to know about this lawsuit. The plaintiff in this lawsuit worked for FS1 out of Los Angeles, dating back to the earliest days of the network, particularly on the show Undisputed, which of course was co-hosted by Skip Bayless. Now, allegedly, according to the suit, Bayless made repeated attempts, physically, verbally, to pursue this woman sexually. She continually said no to him, up to a point multiple years into their relationship where this woman says she was being treated for cancer and confided in Bayless that that procedure was happening. He responded by offering her $1.5 million allegedly to have sex with him at that time, and she said no. The lawsuit goes on to allege that once the plaintiff denied Skip's advances, he allegedly claimed that he had information linking her to his co-host Shannon Sharpe in a sexual manner, which the plaintiff also refuted. However, at that time, she alleges that she was made to feel like her job was not secure because she was not agreeing to Skip's advances and because of the threats and implications he was making as a result. The second thing to know is that the plaintiff, who, remember, was a hairdresser at the network, attended a birthday party for Joy Taylor, one of the talent at the network, in 2017. She alleges in this lawsuit that at that party she was groped unwantedly by an FS1 executive named Charlie Dixon. Now, this is where Joy Taylor's involvement in this lawsuit allegedly starts to begin, where not only was this her birthday party, but the hairdresser, the plaintiff, alleges that she knew at that time that Taylor was having a relationship with Mr. Dixon. The hairdresser plaintiff alleges that she came to Joy Taylor at that time following being groped by the man because she knew that Taylor had a relationship with him and might be able to help. And Taylor told her to, quote, get over it, and that because Taylor felt she only had her job as a result of her relationship with Dixon, she made an impression to the plaintiff that she, the plaintiff, could lose her job as well if anything crossed Dixon the wrong way. Thirdly, we zero in on Taylor once again, where the lawsuit alleges that in 2016, the plaintiff found out that Taylor had pursued a sexual relationship with Dixon in order to land the moderator role on Undisputed, the show that Bayless, of course, hosted. The fourth category is how Dixon, the FS1 executive, allegedly utilized financial influence to keep the relationship with Taylor a secret. Now, while the plaintiff, the hairdresser, allegedly knew about their relationship and knew that that had led to the breakup of Taylor's first marriage, for example, this lawsuit also alleges that Dixon went to extreme lengths to keep what was going on between him and Taylor private, including what the plaintiff alleges was a payoff of Taylor's second fiance, a former NBA player, to give them wedding deposits in exchange for that fiance to keep silent even after they broke up. In addition, the lawsuit alleges that Dixon kept his wife on Fox's payroll using his status as an upper executive to keep her silent about his affairs with Fox employees. The lawsuit alleges that Taylor was not the only employee that this happened with, and that Dixon utilized the money from the company in order to pay his wife to make her complicit and at least quiet when it comes to what he was doing. Last but certainly not least, as we find our way into the present day, the lawsuit alleges that Taylor utilized these tactics with another man at the network, Emmanuel Acho. Of course, Acho now is the host of the facility in the mornings on FS1, but previously he co-hosted Speak for Yourself, now called Just Speak, alongside Taylor. This lawsuit alleges that in February of 2020, as the initial plans were coming together for that show, the plaintiff discovered that both Acho and Taylor were engaging in a sexual relationship at the same time that Taylor was engaging in some of these other things. Taylor expressed to the plaintiff allegedly that this was a means of acquiring power at the network and that she could protect the plaintiff and her own career because of these relationships.
That is wild. That is absolutely wild. So many years of women before us protesting, experiencing sexual harassment in the workplace, having to shaboing boing with their boss or supervisor, whoever, to get to high places. And if you weren't willing to do that, you weren't being promoted. And someone who, fresh off the street, who's willing to come in and do that in order to get a position must be extremely frustrating. I mean, you've spent years getting your education so that you can be at the top of your class or extremely knowledgeable in whatever area that you decide to work in. For someone to just come in, do those things, and end up getting promoted and end up getting paid more money. That is wild. Absolutely wild.
While these allegations are, of course, salacious, and we at Awful Announcing, as much as anybody, like to follow the ins and outs of sports media, what's being accused here is very serious. The plaintiff, who was a lower level employee at the company, argues in the lawsuit that this culture and these practices around her and her knowledge of them led to negligent supervision, retaliation, wrongful termination, and the complaint wants this to go to trial. She accuses this network and its employees of harassing her in a variety of different ways and is obviously very serious about creating a fight out of this. We don't know what will happen next or how Fox will necessarily respond, but for now, this is huge when it comes to what is going to happen next at FS1. A lot to unpack this week.
So, how many believe that this is going to be settled out of court? I have a strong feeling this is going to be settled out of court, honestly. Do you? Please reach down in the comments and let me know what you think is going to happen. Because I have a strong suspicion that there are more people. I have a strong suspicion that there are more people and they do not want to be exposed. So me personally, in my opinion, I believe that this will be settled out of court. Wild, right? Absolutely wild. But yeah. So I'm looking at the class action lawsuit, and it's 42 pages. 42 pages, which I'm not going to read, but I'm just going to list to you the class action complaint. So, one moment. I'm going to list to you, let me see, share my screen. Here we go. So, for the class action lawsuit, Superior Court of the State of California, County of Los Angeles. The class action lawsuit is failure to pay minimum wages, failure to pay overtime wages, failure to reimburse business expenses, failure to pay all wages upon separation, failure to furnish accurate itemized wage statements, unfair, unlawful, or fraudulent business practices. Individual complaint: sexual battery, hostile work environment, schmex/gender, hostile work environment, race, national origin, hostile work environment, disability, failure to prevent harassment, negligent supervision, hiring and retention, retaliation, wrongful termination, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But this document is a full 42 pages. Now, if I can remember correctly, this is dating back to, I believe, 2016. Whew. I can't wait to see where this goes. Yeah. But it's, let me see. I'll read the summary of action because I'm not going to read a whole 42 pages. I'm not doing it. But I'll read this part. Miss Faraji brings forth this action because for over a decade at Fox, she was forced to endure a misogynistic, racist, and ableist workplace where executives and talent were allowed to physically and verbally abuse workers with impunity. When Ms. Faraji and others came forward to report the wrongdoing, instead of addressing their concerns, Fox retaliated against them, while the proprietors and those who protected them were inexplicitly promoted. That is crazy. This case thus represents yet another in a long line of cases chronicling the toxic culture at Fox, marked by bad faith promises and repeated failures to address a poisonous and entrenched patriarchy. Ms. Faraji also brings forth an action on behalf of herself and Fox current and former non-exempt hourly employees employed in California, class members, beginning 4 years prior to the filing of this complaint and ending on the date as determined by the court. The class period, specifically during the class period, Fox had a consistent policy and or practice of failing to pay employees all minimum wages, failing to pay employees all overtime wages, failing to reimburse employees for business expenses, failing to pay all wages upon separation, and knowingly and intentionally failing to furnish accurate itemized wage statements. As a result of above labor code violations, Fox committed unfair, unlawful, and fraudulent business practices in violation of California's unfair competition law, UCL. Wow. You know what? This is really, really sad. This is really sad. But it's funny. I was watching a clip of Mrs. Joy Taylor. I was watching a clip of Mrs. Joy Taylor, and someone was making like a snarky comment about how we need real journalists, and she was saying that she has a doctorate in journalism. So honestly, I really don't understand why she went that route. I really don't understand, because if you have a doctorate in journalism, you have the education. But then again, if we're going to flip the coin on the other end, you are in a male-dominated industry. I spoke about this yesterday regarding Nicki Minaj as far as the music industry. So you're on Fox Sports. Most of the commentators on there are men. A small majority are women that are involved in sports in general, as far as being commentators. A majority of them are men. So I can imagine what these women are going through in the background, where you have to put on a certain hat and be a certain way because you're working with predominantly men. We're not gonna act delusional and not pretend that in the workplace, when you have a certain aesthetic, that men are not going to pursue you or make certain inappropriate sexual comments. We're not going to act like that doesn't happen. Whether you are married, you're not married, whether this other person or, other male coworker is married or not, this is what men do or have been doing since forever. So I don't know exactly what it is that she experienced, why she ended up in the position that she is in. I don't know what her past was like. I don't know what her childhood was like. A lot of times people who, maybe she's grown up in she had a great childhood. She got the attention that she needed from her parents, great educational background, a positive household. Who knows? Maybe that wasn't the case. And a lot of times, for example, Young Miami and Diddy, a lot of times when people are coming from poverty-driven households or neighborhoods, and I'm not saying that's where Joy Taylor's from, but once you've made it into the industry where you are making great money, more than the average individual, and you are being wined and dined and you're living lavishly, you think about your past or your childhood or in your younger years when you were struggling to get to where you are. A lot of times these women will say, I'm not going back. I'm not ever going back to being where I was before, or I am not trying to experience that type of life, or what my family members or what my parents or my grandparents went through in the past. I never ever want to go back there. So a lot of times these women or men, they are willing to do whatever it takes to keep them in the position that they are in, to remain comfortable in life. So, like I said before, I don't know what her background is. I don't know why she's doing that, but when the hairdresser young lady, I'm sorry, I don't know her name. Okay, her name is Noushin Faraji. I believe she was the hairdresser, and she approached her friend, who is Joy, and Joy Taylor. She approached her friend to let her know what was going on. And allegedly, Joy was telling her, oh, well, not in these exact words, but you better suck it up. Don't say a word, because if you do, we're going to be out of here. We're not going to have this job anymore. Now, as far as my moral compass, I would not be able to do that. From what I've heard, Joy Taylor was married, and her husband was living in Florida. I believe that's where she's from. And he found out about her extramarital affairs, and the relationship was no longer. So, I don't know. As far as my moral compass, I don't think I would have been able to do that. I would not have been able to sleep at night, sleep with my husband, and then sleep with other people who are the head of the company. Like, I would not be able to do that. That is weird. That is just very uncomfortable for me, from a moral compass perspective. But I don't know. There are a lot of people who they've had very traumatic childhood, and in some cases, they're like, I'm never going back to being broke ever again or living in poverty. We don't know if that is her situation, but the fact that you are willing to smut yourself out to hold a position and live this lavish life and get all this money, it says a lot about that person. It says a lot. But I looked up Joy Taylor's birthday, for those of you who are into astrology, and she is a Capricorn. Now, Capricorns, from what I can remember, they're all about status. They're all about how they look, how they appear to other people. So when they are in high positions, they are at their best, like they feel their best. And they're all about status and holding very, very high positions. And I'm not saying all Capricorns, but many Capricorns are extremely ambitious. Some would say too ambitious, to the point where they're willing to do something strange for a piece of change. But that's here nor there. I'm not gonna keep going with that. But I did a little background research, and when I saw that, I was like, interesting. She's a Capricorn. Okay. A lot of this stuff makes sense to me now. But please go down in the comments and tell me how you feel about this whole situation. The horse has left the gate. It's out there, and I'm sure there's plenty more information that's going to be put out there that we don't know about, especially with this lawsuit. Or if they do not want any more information to come out, this lawsuit is going to be settled quickly. So, yeah. With that said, hold on. Let me see something. Yeah. But with that said, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Watch my videos. I'm trying to get better and better every single day as far as navigating when I'm live streaming. I'm going to say it like I said it before. I'm going to be delusional, as if I am speaking to thousands and thousands of people. My goal, and I am manifesting that I am going to have thousands, hundreds of thousands of subscribers and people who are here or join my live to engage. And let's just have a good time. Let's have fun. And let's have this conversation. This is new to me, so it's going to take me some time to be able to navigate on the platform. So when you see me do a little bit of slip-ups here and there, please bear with me. I'm new to this, and I'm true to this. So, yes, again, welcome to Court of Public Opinion. Please like my video. Take your gnarled fingers and press the like button. Take your other gnarled nub finger and press the subscribe button, the all, for the notification bell, so you can get more videos like this. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I will see you again soon.